Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 4 tips for you on how I focus at work. This year, I feel like I've been the most focused and productive I've ever been in my entire career. I think as I look back, there are really 4 things that stick out to me that have helped me. And so I want to share these with you, and feel free to leave your own tips in the comments so we can all learn and get better together. Okay, so for the first one on my laptop, I have like all notifications off. I have Discord notifications off because I get pinged there a lot. I have my Teams notifications off, and I have email notifications off. And this has helped me so much because really, especially when I work, I just have my laptop, one monitor. I don't have multiple screens. Having anything like fly up on my screen and like distract me in the past has just been terrible. And so I've just decided, nope, I'm gonna turn off all notifications. I'm not gonna let that stuff distract me. And it's really helped me a lot, because if I'm like, let's say in a PowerPoint presentation, or I'm writing up something in Word, or, reviewing budgets in Excel, whatever it might be, I need to have my like utmost focus, and any kind of distractions, be it a Teams message from somebody, usually it can wait until I'm done with my task and I can go in and look. Next is music and headphones on. Now that I'm working back in the studio, there are a good amount of people around, and so it can be easy to like hear a conversation, might pick your interest, and now all you're doing is just like listening. Or there's just like hustle and bustle. Sometimes there's like random sounds that just occur on like a different floor, and you're like, what's going on up there? And like that stuff can happen and be super distracting. So what I do is I put my headphones on, and usually if I'm working on like kind of like mindless tasks, I'll have music with like lyrics, so some of my favorite songs. And if I'm just responding to emails or things that really don't require a lot of like intense thinking, then I'll put on just like regular music, my favorite playlist on Spotify. But if I'm working on something that's like really intense and I can't have like lyrics or things like pop into my head because I'm like thinking very deeply, then I'll put on like kind of like classical or ambient music where you can't really tell exactly, or nothing that you're listening to is like sticking out enough to grab your attention, but it's just kind of like a nice, it's almost like white noise, honestly. And that helps me a lot, and I can just get locked into whatever I'm working on. So far, I've been doing it for a long time, but I think this year has definitely helped me, so I definitely recommend that one as well. Third one is actually about nutrition, and this one is about being in a fasted state. I actually don't drink any coffee, don't like coffee, and I don't really like stimulants, so I don't drink coffee. When I wake up, I usually like listen to music, especially on my drive to work, which helps me kind of like get energetic or be in the mood or whatever it might be. Right now, especially as I'm fasting for Ramadan, like I'm not eating anything all day. I'm not drinking anything right now either. But even before Ramadan started, I was most of my days fasting, and I would have drinks with me and whatnot, but I wasn't eating. This I found has been really helping me be productive and focused because, 1, I'm not taking a lunch break, which is nice. 2, anytime I would go get some food, I would then like crash shortly after, and I'm in this like awful valley of like, I'm tired, I'm yawning like crazy, and I just can't like focus on my work. All of that is like out of the way now. And I think there's something to be said about like just being fasted that gets you really like focused and honed in your brain. Again, it just helps me keep an even keel energy level throughout the day. And I find that energy level is generally pretty high. I'm not like, as long as I get a good night's sleep, my energy can sustain. And sure, there might be times where like, oh man, I feel really tired in this moment. But if I have a glass of water or even like a Coke Zero, not now because I'm fasting for Ramadan, but I can usually like tough it out, and I'll get back like to my even keel state, and I'll be good to go. And I find that the days are just like flying by. So fasting for me has been like a really healthy and productive thing for work. I know maybe it's a bit controversial. It can be tough too when you have friends and coworkers who go out for lunch and whatnot. And I do make exceptions for those kind of rare things. But yeah, I would definitely recommend at least trying it and seeing how you feel on it. Last one for me is time blocking my calendar. This is a really big one. What I find is that if I look throughout my day before the day starts or the night before, and I can build like a plan going into the day, it helps me be a lot more focused because I'll get out of a meeting. Let's say I have a half-hour block. If I have on my list, I know what I want to get done or need to get done in that half hour. As soon as that meeting's over, I already know, okay, this is what I'm working on. Instead of looking through my list and maybe searching and like, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing in this block. What's the most pressing or most important thing to do right now? And sometimes it could be an hour or 2 hours, whatever it might be. Having a plan, having your calendar blocked off for certain tasks that you want to go do just helps you go from one thing to the next more smoothly. Your brain doesn't have time to think about other stuff or be distracted by other thoughts or feel like, maybe I want to go for a walk, or maybe, I'm going to go talk to this person or whatever it is. I'm not saying don't go talk to those people. I'm saying don't go for a walk. The whole thing is like plan for that. If you have a half-hour break and you're like, I want to go out for a walk. I do this all the time. I've talked about this in prior videos. Plan for it. And then as soon as that meeting's over, you get up, you go for your walk. Or you get up and you go talk to that person. Basically what I'm saying is like kill those like moments of indecision or dead time between your tasks, and that'll help you go from one thing to the next more easily. Those are the 4 things that I want to share today that have helped me have a really productive and focused year. Feel free to leave comments with your own tips and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. Thank you again to everybody for support, and I'll see you in the next one.